We as a people have just experienced one of the most amazing and important things to ever happen in TV history. Now, a lot of people have been, concerned about the fact that they got another white guy, he's an old white guy, and frankly it's just starting to annoy the crap out of me. Personally, I love what they did with the Doctor. I love the casting of this. There are one or two problems I'd like to point out, but basically I agree Doctor Who as a show, it does need a bit more racial diversion. Most of the characters are white British people, but that's not something I'm going to care about that much. I also don't care that the Doctor is white. I don't care that he's an old guy. The 11th Doctor, before he regenerated, he said he was starting out a new cycle. And if that means what I hope it means that we've got another 13 Doctors coming. The 12th Doctor would be the first of that new cycle. And so it would kind of make sense that he would be an old guy because they would be replicating what happened before the first Doctor. He was the old guy. It's a good parallel, I think. To be perfectly honest, the only thing I don't like about the new Doctor is his costume. Now, he's kind of just dressed in this black Victorian robe. Kind of looks like a vampire, honestly. Normally I wouldn't mind so much. It's just the fact we've seen so much of this in the Doctor's past, and if you want to go back to what I said before and say that might be because it's replicating the first Doctor, again, that is only a rumor at this point. I don't know. I'm only hoping that's true. I suppose it's okay. I'm not going to be as angry. Personally, I think a more interesting parallel, which would have worked just as well, would be to give him a more futuristic costume, or even a modern costume. I've got I had some ideas of what kind of costumes that I would like to see him wearing. I've drawn them out for you here. Now, one of my first ideas for a costume for him would be a slim-fitted black suit. Now, I know we've seen suits before. We've seen the 10th Doctor in a very modern costume. It's just with Peter Capaldi, he's got this kind of this personality that would really be complemented by a more modern, dark suit. Another idea that I had was, we've never actually seen a Doctor with a futuristic costume before. Honestly, you don't really see too many TV shows or movies successfully pull off what formal fashion is going to look like in the future. Personally, I think Doctor Who has a huge opportunity to be the first to successfully make characters and make their own fashion for the future, make future fashion. Another idea I came up with was references to other fandoms, other shows, things that people would enjoy just as much. For those of you who think that he doesn't have a bikini body, who knows? Just because he's an old white guy doesn't mean he has to be unattractive, and I think that's the reason a lot of people are getting pissed off. One of the reasons I don't really think people should care that he's an old white guy again is because that's pretty much just part of his character. He's been a white guy for the past 50 years, and if you suddenly change him and make him someone of color, or if you make him a woman, I would still love the show just as much, and I think that his character could possibly evolve from that, but it would be such a drastic change to his character. Now, if you wanted to add more characters like that to Doctor Who, that's a different story. I think they should definitely do that, because, even when they do have strong female characters, they wind up relying on the Doctor in some way. Even River Song, she was one of the most badass women I have ever seen on TV. However, in the end, she always needed the Doctor. They need to be more independent. I feel like the Doctor should rely on them once in a while. And I suppose that was changed with Clara a bit, but my point does still stand. I do think that the female characters in Doctor Who are being repeated. They do need a lot more characters of color, or characters who aren't British. They could go to other countries, other continents, pick up characters that are a bit more interesting and who would actually be interested in seeing London. And that brings me to another problem. I'm going to assume that they have the budget to go other places, to film in other places on the planet, if they always stay in London. And then that raises me to yet another problem. He always stays on Earth. He could be going all throughout the universe, picking up companions that are not only of color, but companions who are of a different species. I think if you wanted to do more stories that take place in London, find a character that knows nothing about Earth, or humans, or London, or traditions on Earth, and that would also give the show potential to go to other planets. We don't really see that many of those. I mean, the last one we saw was in Rings of Akhaten. That was one of my favorite episodes because we got tons of species, we got tons of culture, things that didn't exist before, and it took place in this beautiful world full of things that we don't ever see here on Earth. They still have a lot of those costumes left over. Their CGI budget is skyrocketing. You know, if they could very well get the budget to go to other planets, they could, you know, do more costumes, get more aliens. I think all of us are getting a little bored of London. I mean, I remember when they introduced Clara as the 1800s Victorian chick, I was thinking, this is amazing, they're finally not doing a character from 21st century London. But then it turned out she was from 21st century London. Altogether, I am extremely excited to see what happens in Doctor Who. I'd love to see more of Torchwood, I'd love to see more of Jack, I'd love to see more of other planets, I'd love to see more diverse characters, I'd love to see more independent female characters that don't revolve entirely around the Doctor. Definitely love to see a different costume, but unfortunately that doesn't look too likely. They need to keep up the awesome things that they're doing, because the good bits of Doctor Who are the really good bits, but the bad bits are rather not good. So basically tell me what you guys think. I would really love to see your input on my ideas for Doctor Who, what's good about it, what's bad about it, what you think is good about it, what you think is bad about it, what you think should be changed. Leave your input in the comments section, or if you find this on Tumblr, I guess just post notes on it, share it, tweet it, do whatever you want. I really hope you enjoyed this post. Expect a lot more from me. Alright, stay awesome, YouTube. See ya.